Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be bringing you another upcycling video. I am upcycling this mantle, or giving it a makeover. I have done this mantle way before YouTube days. It was a bright orange wood originally, and I had chalk painted with 3 different colors and loved it for many years. However, now with the whole new setup, sorry, it's real life here, but with the whole new setup, it's just not working for me anymore. So I have decided to give it a bit of a new makeover. I am going to be using one paint for this, and I'm going with the Benjamin Moore Aura Interior in Matte. This is in black. It's just called black. And this is the paint that I had painted my accent wall as well as my door. And then there's another door and the bathroom wall, shiplap wall. So there's a lot of that black going, and I thought this would look good here. I am doing something really fun for the mantle, so you want to make sure you watch this video thoroughly so you can see what I do for the mantle. I'm also going to be doing a little frame above, like where the TV is. The TV is gonna go down, and I'm going to work on that back wall as well. So lots of changes coming to this space, but I think it's going to look really good. It's going to stand out and be almost like a focal point, which is what I want. So we are going to get started. I'm gonna prep the mantle first, and that's what I'm gonna work on, just getting the mantle painted first, and then we're gonna move on other things. First thing that I did is I covered my work area. I prepped it by taping it, using some garbage bags as a tarp and taping them to the floor so that way they don't move and I don't slip while working on the surface. And then also I cleaned the fireplace. I am also going to remove the face of the fireplace so that way I can paint behind it. That way I don't run into a chance of not covering everything, the whole back. Everything was prepped. I actually just saw this little trick, and I'm just baffled that I haven't thought of this myself. Is I took some aluminum foil and I just covered the tray, because I was going to use this tray for several days. I didn't want to have to wash it every single time or run into a chance of it drying out. This way, once you are done painting it, you just remove the tin foil and you have a clean tray underneath it. For painting the fireplace, I'm going to use a small foam roller as well as a small brush. I'm going to do all the big surfaces with a foam roller and then get into all the little crevices with the brush. This did not take very long at all, and I'm also not painting the top part of the fireplace. That part comes right off, and I'm going to be building a mantle top for that while I wait for my paint to dry. So like I said, this didn't take very long. It took about a coat and a half, I should say probably 2 coats to cover this fireplace. This paint is phenomenal to work with. The coverage is really good. It goes on smoothly, and it's not, for a matte paint, it's fairly easy to clean as well. And I just love the coverage that I get from this paint. So once I finish up the paint, I move on into the garage. So we went ahead to Home Depot and picked up some wood. So we picked up what were these? 1x8x6. And then we picked up the big piece of this thing. It's called the project panel, shelving furniture project crafts. It was the right width. So it was 16x72 is what we kind of needed. So we did end up cutting 6 inches off to fit. And now we are going to assemble the mantle. So we just wanted to make sure it fits. We removed the top part and slid this on it to see how it looks and whether it's a good size and if it sits nicely and if it fits before I went ahead and went outside to stain it. We first cut the wood to size and then we used a nailer to nail it in place and then used L brackets to secure it so the pieces would stay together. So the first thing that I'm doing here is I wanted to rough up the mantle. I wanted it to look like old barn board. So I am banging it up with some hammer and also using a screwdriver just to give it some scratches and really rough up the piece. And now I'm just going to use a wood filler just to fill in some gaps. When working with pine, it's never straight, so there is a little bit of a gap at one end. So I just wanted to fill that in just to have a bit of a more appearing of a solid piece. So while I wait for the wood filler to cure, which takes about 15 minutes, I'm going to test out which stain I want to stain this in. I'm going to mix several of them and then go from there. So here are some stain ideas. This is the Minwax Aged Oak in gel stain, which is the same one I use for my door. This one is the Early American in Minwax. The other one is Weathered Oak, and then this one is the Special Walnut by Birthday, and then this one is Special Walnut and Aged Oak mixed together. This is Special Walnut and Weathered Oak mixed together, and then this one is Weathered Oak and Aged Old American mixed together. So we are leaning towards this one, I think. So that will be the Aged Oak and Early American. Once the wood filler had cured, I am taking my round sander and sanding it first with the high grit sandpaper, and then I'm going to smooth everything out a little bit with a low grit paper. Now I am also taking the sander with the high grit paper and just creating some dents into the wood so it looks like it appears like it's old. Once I was done sanding, I'm taking some of this mineral spirits and some paper towel just to give it a good clean. You don't want any of the sanding particles to be left on this before you stain and apply a wood conditioner. I am actually starting with the wood conditioner. So whenever you are working with soft wood, they recommend conditioning it so that way you get an even application of stain. So you don't get discolorations in the stain. So I went ahead and actually went out and bought wood conditioner for this project just because I didn't want to take any chances. They do say that mineral spirits sometimes are enough and they will condition the wood enough, but I still wanted to just make sure that I don't have any bleed throughs. I did not use a wood conditioner on one of my other projects with the raw pine, and even though the project looked good and I don't mind the way all that different colors look, I didn't want that same look for this piece. While I waited for the wood conditioner to dry, so about half an hour or so, I went ahead and painted the 1x3 trim that I had purchased as well at Home Depot with the same black that I painted the fireplace. And now I took a measuring cup and I measured out equal amounts of the stain, just so that way, in case if I didn't measure out enough, I know exactly how much to put of each. You can apply the stain with a foam brush and then wipe it off. I prefer just using a rag and applying it and then wiping it off. Once I covered the whole surface, I go ahead again and wipe everything down. I do repeat this process twice, waiting approximately 4 hours in between. I love the way the stain ended up looking on this piece, and all the little dents and scratches that I made just picked up a little bit of a darker color and turned out really nice, making it look really old and rustic. I used this similar stain combination on my oak table that I refinished a couple weeks ago, and the stain turned completely different. I still like it, but I love this one a little bit more. Now, this is a couple days later, 2 days to be exact. I am inside and I am using that same black paint to paint the middle of the wall. I actually had my husband use a large level to draw a line so I know where to paint, so I don't go past that line. I am using a large roller now to apply this paint, and then I'm going to do this in 2 coats. Again, the coverage was really nice and smooth, and didn't require 2 full coats, but it did require me to go over some areas a second time. And once, while I was waiting for the paint to dry, I went ahead and applied a sealer for the mantle. I did open the window because it was a little bit stinky. And I am using General Finishes water-based polyurethane. And I did 2 coats of this. So once everything was nice and dry, the mantle and the wall, we ended up using that 1x3 trim to create a frame around the painted surface. So the top part sits on the 2 sidebars, and we used a nailer to nail everything to the wall. I have to say, I am so very pleased with the way this turned out. It just looks so much better in the new space than the other one did. I loved my original fireplace that I painted many years ago, but this one definitely, it needed to be updated to fit the new style, the new decor. I would love to know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments. This was a very inexpensive upgrade makeover to do on the existing fireplace, and like I said, I love it, and I would love to know if you guys love it as much as I do. I also shared a little clip of what it looks like with the TV on. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and a notification bell if you're not subscribed. And those of you returning, thank you so much for watching. And like I said, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.